Hey guys, Brad coming at you here. Guess what? In the week one contest, you're all a bunch of losers. No one had the Ginger Ninja, aka Red Rifle, aka Andy Dalton, with 418 passing yards, led the week. I told you guys it's not always someone you necessarily think of. He went up to Seattle and threw for 418. John Ross, they couldn't cover him. John Ross, looking like Deshaun Jackson out there. Deshaun Jackson. Bet Philly's glad to have that guy back because they wouldn't have won that game without him because they started just terribly. It looks like they have the same problem they did last year, which the secondary is a big pile of meh. It's looking that way again. The offense got off to a slow start, but then picked it up. Jonathan Allen going out for the skin seemed to matter. That kind of surprised me. Thing that bothers me, poor Jordan Howard. It's like these teams just don't want to use him. For some reason, the Eagles think Darren Sproles is a featured back. They keep using Darren Sproles way too much. He is a 8-touch-a-game guy. Not double digits, not 15, whatever many he got. They even used him in a short yardage. Like, this is why you brought Jordan Howard here. And they ran up with Darren Sproles and got stuck. And they're like, I wonder why that happened. Jordan Howard got 6 carries. He averaged 7 yards a carry. And they wouldn't give him the freaking ball. Oh, poor Jordan Howard. I don't get these guys, man. It's like the game can be pretty simple if you just make it simple. So hopefully they get their head out of the rear. And everybody loves little Darren Sproles. And he's fine in a moderate thing. You do not want him carrying and touching the ball as much. They use him way too much, in my opinion. But anyways, I digress. The game kind of surprised me. Was not Titans and Browns. Was Falcons, Vikings. The Vikings just dominated the Falcons. And it wasn't because Kirk Cousins threw for 400 yards. He had 10 pass attempts, I think. 10. They just ran the ball down their throat. And then for everyone who was like, oh, man, we just had to get rid of Steve Sarkisian and our offense is going to be bad. That was a gross performance by the Falcons. Speaking of gross, the Browns. Now, this game got away from them late. It was not, I wouldn't say it was as bad as the score indicated. It was 15-13 at one point. But most real football people weren't really that surprised that the Titans beat the Browns. But how about Cameron Wake? I think he had 2.5 sacks. Freaking love that guy. But Browns, we'll see if Freddie Kitchens is out of, because that was one of the things I was worried about, is we don't even know if this guy can be a head coach. And they had over 15, they had almost 200 yards in penalties. You are not going to win football games doing that. So it was just all ugly performance. Speaking of another ugly performance, the Dolphins, we're moving on. We know they're going to be bad. It was even worse than I thought. Bad. I didn't think our defense would be that bad. That surprised me a little bit. I thought maybe losing 31-10, not 59-10. But they're just bad. There ain't a whole lot to analyze there. We're just not very good. Yeah, the weird thing in the game that I couldn't figure out, I want to say it was 42-3 maybe, and Harbaugh went for a fake punt. I was like, because I'm one of those guys, I have no problem with teams that keep passing or, running your normal stuff. It's the NFL. It's your job to stop them. Yeah, so I'm one of those people getting a hissy fit about, oh, he ran up the score on us. I never do. But that one was odd to me because you like went out of your way, to be tricky at 42-3 or what. I think that's what it was at the time. It was bad at the time. There was no way you were losing. And he does a fake punt. I was just like, okay. And that was very odd. But yeah, let's see. The first game of the year, Bears, Packers. That was gross. Both quarterbacks sucked, to be honest with you. Rodgers wasn't that much better than Trubisky was. Just Trubisky was a little worse, and that was the difference. But Packers defense, we hoped with they've been using a bunch of draft picks. They signed a bunch of free agents this year. Maybe it's going to pay off for them. If they're around 12th in the league, 10th in the league, they're going to be in the playoffs. But you could tell, and I said this last year, Aaron Rodgers is starting to lose it. Just look at some of the sacks he takes, and you're like, man, he didn't used to do that. And just some of the throws he'll even miss, and you're like, man, he didn't used to miss those. So I think Father Time, he's still good. Like, I'm not, but I even said you could see it last year. He's starting to gradually, and he'll still have some big games. He's not like done or anything. But you can tell he's gradually sliding like you should do when you get old. Unlike Tom freaking Brady. The freaking Steelers cost me my fantasy week this week because they couldn't get in the end zone, and I was going against a guy that had the Pats defense. So it cost me. Freaking Dante Moncrief can't catch. That guy's awful. Pretty much the whole Steelers team was just, awful. I'll give them a little bit of credit, at least definitely to start the game. They at least tried to go man-to-man. It's just they still don't really have the personnel to do it. But at least they tried something different because, the reason the Patriots almost always just move the ball up and down the field on them is they play the zone defense and he just kills them. Well, this time they at least tried to change it up. It's just they still don't have the personnel and I think the comfortability of doing it. But I give them some credit. They at least tried. Let's see, what else? Anything else stand up? Bills, Jets. That was kind of like the Bears, Packers for a long time in that game. And then all of a sudden, C.J. Mosley gets hurt. And then the Jets defense forgot how to play defense. And Sam Darnold, I'll give you a reason why the Jets didn't do very well. Jamison Crowder had 17 targets and 14 catches for 99 yards. The problem with that, why it's good for Jamison Crowder, is you could tell Sam Darnold wasn't even like, typically you look, now there's some plays that's just designed as a quick thing. But you look deep to short. And even when he had time, it just seemed like he was looking, straight to Jamison Crowder. Tannehill would do that sometimes when he had Landry. He didn't really go through the progressions. He's just like, I got 4 yards right here. Let's do it. And that's what it seemed like he was doing, which is a big no-no. You don't want that. But, he had 17 targets, which just tells me all I need to know. He's being a little checked down Charlie, to be honest with you. That's what was going on. But, that was an ugly game, but the Bills pulled it out. They showed some resiliency down 16-0. They couldn't do squat, man. This was a defensive game both ways because the Jets had a defensive touchdown by Mosley early in the game. And, credit to Josh Allen. Credit to the Bills. They hung in there. Still won at the end. But, for the Jets fans that had all the hope, Darnold didn't look very good. Now the Bills have a solid defense too. And then your defense, once Mosley got hurt, didn't look very good. So we'll see. But the caveat to all this, folks, no matter who you root for, except for the Dolphins, just remember the first 2 weeks of the season is basically preseason. It's preseason where they actually play their guys. You saw a bunch of slop. Some of them, I felt like I was watching the college game. Just some of the common mistakes they would make, you know. So just remember, give it a couple weeks. What you saw week 1, you may not see week 2 or week 3. So don't overreact, good or bad, to what you saw in week 1, all right? It's been proven it doesn't really matter. So, like I said, there's a few, like the Dolphins, you know, are going to be bad. Now, they're not going to be 59-10 bad every week. Maybe this week against the Pats, but who knows? I'll tell you that. If we find a way to win again in Miami against the Patriots, something is going on down there. I don't know what's going on, but I don't see it happen. But yeah, just remember, don't freak out. Think, oh man, my team sucks, or oh man, we're the greatest team in the world. You know, take it with a grain of salt. First 2 weeks are basically preseason, folks. Just preseason where they play their guys. So don't overreact too much. If you looked awful or if you look great, don't think you're the greatest. But saying that, week 2, we're just going to carry over the contest. Since no one took Andy Dalton, I want you most passing yards this week. We'll do it again. Someone's got to win. I was confident someone was going to do it. Some people were close, but no one had Dalton. So in the comments section, write, who do you think is going to have the most passing yards in week 2 and how many yards? So if you think, we'll just use Ryan Fitzpatrick as an example again. You think he's going to have the most passing yards? You would put Ryan Fitzpatrick. And how many yards you think he's going to throw for? Because that'll be the tiebreaker, because some of you will choose the same guy. So do Ryan Fitzpatrick, 405. 405 yards. Bam. That's all you got to do. And you'll win a nice package full of quarterback cards, numbered, autographs, relics, nice stuff. In the last video, I showed a few of it to give you a sneak peek. It's a nice little package. And it's free. All you got to do is write who you think is going to have the most passing yards in week 2 and how many yards. So that's all I got. Yeah. Love you all. Bye-bye. See you later.